The last assessment you need to do then is a social media assessment. And really, if I showed you past marketing plans, we've taken the social assessment is relatively new in marketing plans. So just this last semester, students got really sophisticated with it. And so know that every plan isn't the same. But we want to look at the social media being used by us and by our competitors across the board. So it's a thorough analysis of our organizations and our competitors' social mediums, their use, their participation, and their engagement. What they're using, how they're using it, and how active and engaged people are with that. So we simply evaluate everything that we're using and everything our competitor is using. So for example, we would want to take these same competitors and look at all their social media kinds of issues. So I'm going to look at our Twitter account. I'm going to look at our Facebook account. I'm going to look at our Instagram account. And I'm looking at ours first, and I'm noting how many people we're following, how many followers we have, how frequent our posts are, and the type of posts that get feedback or comments or sharing. And I want to know what's working in this. I'm going to look at our Facebook page and know that we have 966 likes, but we post once a month, right? And we get nobody to like it or engage or share. But that's going to be my assessment. So I'm assessing all of our social sites. So in this example, here's how we looked at the social sites across our organization and all of those competitors we identified. So we want to look at our branding, in this case our logo. We looked at how Pure Michigan actually has a free service for anybody in our industry. You can post information on the website for Pure Michigan. So this looks at participation there. Then we would fill in the blanks about the type of messages we're doing, the frequency of our messages, what kind of cost to visit, the number of messages, the markets that we serve. You can tell who we're talking to on those social sites. And then simply down here quantifying how many people are on our competitors' sites versus ours. So if you look here as an example, we have 800 Twitter followers, but Ludington has 1,700 Twitter followers. And we look at someone like Grand Haven has 2,400 followers. They have 4,000 Facebook likes, and we only have 966. So automatically, I hope you can see, we might set some goals or objectives. If social sites are so important to the tourism industry, we have to do two things. We have to get people on them, so likes, right, or followers, but we also have to get people engaging in them and us to use them. So it's not just an issue of number of people. The National Cherry Festival has 50,000 people on their Facebook page, but if they're not doing anything with it and engaging people, it doesn't really matter. It's a double-edged sword. Engagement, participation kind of idea, and you got to get people on it, because if I have 10 people on it and they might be really engaged, that's not a big enough kind of following. So I automatically see how we can set some objectives as I learn this information. So again, Lemon Jellos, here's an example of what they evaluated from a social media site. They looked at mission, type of messages, frequency of messages, markets they're talking to, and likes. So for example, they have 6,000 people on their Facebook page for this coffee house. 6,000, but a whole CVB had 800, right? But their competitor, Good Earth, only has 259. So you can see they're not a high social used system. We are. It is absolutely, in this case, if I look at this alone, it's one of our strengths. We have an active community of social followers, and we're pretty frequent, 1 to 2 per week, but not as frequent as JP's, which is interesting. So I'd want to look at who and what they're doing, because maybe we want to increase frequency in this case. We have strong numbers. Now what are we doing with our messaging? Festival of Races, social media assessment again for the running race at the National Cherry Festival. Again, 50,000 Facebook likes on the general Cherry Festival page, and they do Facebook posts a week, 5 to 10 on average, but how many are festival of race, running race oriented, which is a little different because the Bayshore Marathon is just about a running race. And does the Cherry Festival need a separate page just for the race, or if they're going to embed it with the festival overall, what kind of attention are we getting there kind of idea. So do they use Instagram? Again, are they using Twitter? They're not even using Twitter. They put all their energy into Facebook. And is that a certain market segment served by Facebook? Well, we have data that we know who uses Facebook. And if that's who we're targeting, then okay, that makes sense. But if we're missing some markets here by not, this might identify a marketing objective for us. So looking again, here's another one for breweries, and we're the Perrin Brewing Company here, and this is more about what founders Hopcat and the Green Well are doing, who we viewed as our competition, right? This is a student plan, and you can see the difference is Founders has 102,000 people on their Facebook. Pretty amazing, right? And how many likes they have, how many followers they have, etc. So pretty interesting to see what kind of social media is being used, but not only by us, because that's insightful. We don't analyze that. We just all started doing it. Oh, get a Facebook page, get an Instagram page, etc. But what are we doing with it? And what kind of effect are we having? We need to be more strategic about it. So the first thing is to gather some data about it. Here's one for the intersection and competitors they viewed and the 3 simple sources that they engage with. And again, great information being gleaned quickly about social media in a different way. So Facebook and Twitter are used by all those assessed. So-and-so has more fans and likes and encourage more than others, etc. So it's your turn now. The introduction here was to look at, and our textbook doesn't do a good job with this, because if you even look at the template in the textbook that I shared with you here, is it looks different here because it should look different. This is 7 years later, and that assessment should have evolved, and we are expanding and changing in what we look at in terms of marketing all the time. So to be a better strategist and move into our strategy chapter, we're going to gather some market research data this week. 3 pieces of market research. I need you to do a competitive assessment, a quality assessment, and a social assessment. I'll be talking to you this week on our phone appointments to confirm which site you're going to do your marketing plan for and with, and then answer any questions related to the assessments. But good luck. I'm excited to have you gather your data, because that data will drive decision making, and it'll be a great contribution to your site and the marketing plan, because I could almost 100% guarantee no matter the site you pick, they're not doing these assessments, and they need to. So happy day.